And welcome to Transformation Now. Hi, I'm Rita, rocker, speaker, author, and trainer with SoaringHigher.rocks, and I'm very happy to be continuing on a program that I started in the last session, and it's about being you are destined for greatness. And most of this comes from my new book, Miracle in Your Mirror, Pursuing Your Passion at Any Age. And again, any age, you know, originally I was writing that for people like over 45, 50 on up to whatever, 90, 100. And then I started thinking about, what about teenagers? I gave some programs to some teenagers not too long ago, senior high students. Then most of them were fairly underprivileged, I guess you'd call it. And we're having rough times, rough life. And it was on understanding gender roles to really build them up and help them to be stronger and more confident in themselves and how they treat each other. And I realized, you know what, teenagers, high school, you know, they can also use these same tips as far as pursuing their passion at any age. I remember talking to a young high school student, and he came from a rough background, and I was over at the Omaha Technical Building. It was a summer program, and bless his heart, you know, I could tell he was kind of struggling maybe with some self-esteem. I said, so what's your goal? And he said, well, I want to design cars, especially sports cars. You know, but he was a little shy about it. So I really built him up about his gifts, his creativity, his mind, and setting his mind to it, and he would be able to achieve it. So again, these aren't necessarily for just older people, but for all of us, any of us, no matter how much we how old we are, is for any age. And so actions that ignite your success is so important. So I started off, just the first paragraph I'll cover again, that taking action is the strongest way to create success in your life. Obviously, it's not sitting on the couch wishing. That doesn't get us anywhere, but you know, next year, if we're still sitting on the couch wishing, that's exactly where we'll be, sitting on the couch wishing, and nothing has changed in the meantime. It's the opposite, of action is fear. It's procrastination. So this is all about taking action to ignite your success and to really get that passion, pursue that passion, and actually manifest that passion in your life. Over all the programs I've talked about for a long time, I've constantly given stories, true examples of people who have been through absolutely horrific things, missing body parts, just awful things, and yet how they achieved the most miraculous goals because they didn't give up and they kept going forward, and they weren't going to let anything stop them, even though a lot of times most of us probably would be stopped, including me. But it's always very inspirational. That's one of the things that's very important to me, especially now, is I want to be inspired, and then I can inspire other people. And that's where my heart is, to always to share, to inspire, to give. And that's the way we all should really be with each other, blessing each other. So again, it's the following 21 action steps can take right now to ignite your success. And like I mentioned, igniting, if you ignite a fire, you set it on fire. What sets your heart on fire? What makes you feel good? What makes you excited? What is like, oh man, I wish I could do this on a full-time basis. Maybe you can. Okay, there are so many things we can do. So what ignites your life, sets you on fire, makes you happy, makes you light up? Because when somebody talks about something in a career, something they want to do, and I see them literally light up, and their eyes are smiling as long, as well as their mouth is, they just brighten up. That's their calling. Okay, so talk to yourself about it in the mirror if you need to. What ignites your mind, your feelings, as far as your business, your career? What ignites you in a career? What makes you go, oh yuck, I have to go back to that tomorrow? That needs some work to change into something you'd rather do. Like I mentioned at the end of my last program, one simple example out of hundreds was a doctor who was very successful. He didn't want to do that anymore. So he became a silversmith in a little mountain town. and loved it. He was happy. I mean, talk about a total transformation, but that's what really made him light up and be creative. I'm sure if somebody needed a doctor in that town, there he was, but that wasn't his practice. His purpose was to do what he loved, creating beautiful things, instead of being a doctor of whatever. I'm not sure what his practice was. And family, what ignites you in your family? What kind of burns things and dampens them? What would ignite, more family time, more love, more help, more consideration amongst family members? So think about that. And then you start on your path to trying one or two of these things, and then you move forward from there until you don't even attract negative things anymore. You're so busy doing positive things that inspire you, inspire others, help you. You're right now, I'd say 90% of the time, I'm either listening to some positive, relaxing music. Most of the time I'm on YouTube learning. There's so much on YouTube learning. I mean, I was learning about somatics and your nervous system and being a stoic and just all these tons of stuff on relationships to really learn. And so that would be one thing I would highly suggest, is switching some time for crazy. I watched a crazy movie the other night because I needed to mellow out and relax. But most of the time it's going to be, I want to learn and I'm fascinated. So it seems like the older I got, the more I want to learn. And so again, we never want to let ourselves become stagnant. We want to keep learning and growing, and it's fun. And it opens new doors for you. That would be awesome for you. And so always think about that and then move on from there. We don't want to stay the same. No, we don't want to do that. I did that too much of my life. So again, just quickly, the first one that I mentioned in the last program was stop. That would be doing things that you're presently doing, maybe that aren't getting you anywhere, and you look back, and I looked back at some journals the other day and I went, oh my gosh, the date was 20 years ago. This is still in my life. I haven't let go of that. I haven't taken that step to move forward, and I'm going, oh my gosh, no. And so sometimes if you have been journaling or have things, photos, whatever, you look at those and you think, why am I still in the same place? That's because we have to stop doing those things that we've been doing and move on. So the first was stop the way you do things presently. If there's something in there that's holding you back. And again, I had mentioned in the last program, pretend like you're in a movie theater and you're watching the movie. You're sitting in a seat, okay? You're in the audience, you're sitting in this seat, and you are literally going back through as much of your life as you can. I don't remember very much about growing up. I know there's probably reasons. But so as you do this though, then it will bring up some more memories. But look at your life without the feeling, without the emotion. Remember, you're just sitting back in the theater. You're just watching somebody's story. It happens to be yours. And think about these things that have happened to you, that you are doing, that you're afraid of, and but take the emotion out of it. If you pretend like you're really in a theater, you can do that. And you can go, oh my goodness, is that what happened? Is that why that happened? What did I do? What did they do? And so that starts giving you problem resolution as well, because you go, yep, I'm stopping this one. Oh, I need to do more of this one. And it's powerful. And as you see things, as you're watching these things with your eyes closed in your mind, open your eyes when you need to keep a notepad and a pen. That's very important. Never, ever, ever try to do this on a computer. Every time you're kind of going through lessons in your life, make sure it's with pad and pen, not computer, because then your mind can be more active, it's more quiet, and I've noticed things are starting to pop up in my brain that I totally forgot about, maybe most of my life. But it helps, because you're watching as a movie, not, oh my God, feeling it so much. Because once you do that, then you can start saying, wow, I see why this is still the same way, or I see what I need to do to go to the next step. So think about that. Watch the movie, take you out of it while you start seeing these things. Yes, there'll be emotions to deal with later, but not while you're trying to go through this process. The second one is drop. First was stop, second is drop. The assumptions, I'm an overthinker, and I've been guilty of assuming a lot of things because this happened to me before, so I assume the way this person's acting, it's going to happen to me again. And a lot of times when we do that, we mess up relationships that could be good, but we're assuming the same thing's going to happen. Or I better run away and leave this because if I don't, they're going to run away from me and do that. So we have to be really careful with assuming something's going to happen. Unless we have some warning signs, we can't really do that. You know, about you or about other people. We need more facts. We need to talk to people, you know, and it's not like having, sometimes people, it's been proven, have conversations in their heads. And nobody else is around, but they're thinking of a situation. It's like, well, you did this, and then I did that. And then the conversation starts. Nobody there. So this person's going to say this, and then I'm going to do that, and then they're going to do that. And that really is an issue that a lot of people have. And we have these fake conversations with ourselves, and we have it all figured out and exactly what's going to happen. We don't know that. What we need to do is take the steps thinking, okay, if this does happen, how am I going to act this time? I'm going to straighten up. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to look them in the eye. I'm not going to start screaming. I'm going to be very confident, very positive. So you think about that, yes, but you drop the assumptions of what will happen. You think about how will I take care of something if it does, but that's different. So there's a saying that he who aims at nothing shall surely hit it every time. And that is so true. Someone aims at nothing, they're going to sit there and veg out on TV, whatever, sit at the bar every night, then that's what they're going to hit. So he who aims at nothing hits it every time. And that is so true. Another saying is, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different outcome, a different result. And that's been proven in my life too. So you have to think about that. Insanity is just thinking, okay, this needs to change, but then we don't do anything about it. It's like, well, why is this still the same? It's because the steps haven't been taken, the mind hasn't been changed in order to get out into the new world. So again, drop assumptions that we make about ourselves and other people and work on facts and problem resolutions after you know the true facts. The third one is expect. All right, keyword, expect. Sometimes we expect the same thing. Okay, this person's going to come home, or I'm going to meet them, and they're still going to be nasty and crabby and rude, and they're still going to treat me a certain way, or they're still going to be mean to my kids, or coach is going to be nasty to this. I mean, we expect. We get exactly what we expect, and I've heard that for so many years from very successful multimillionaires, people like that have really worked on my mind and going, yeah, that's exactly. If I expect that, that's the energy I'm giving off to other people. People treat us the way we treat ourselves so much of the time. So if I'm expecting rudeness, if I'm expecting rejection, hey, here it comes. And so expect. What do you expect? Okay, you're going to expect success. Next time I run into this person, it's going to be positive. I'm going to be confident. I'm not going to hold my head down. No, I'm going to be confident. You expect success. You expect good things to come to you. I'm working on that a lot myself right now. You expect fun. How can I expect fun and where I'm going? I've seen conferences where somebody was the speaker, and it was like, I remember watching this one lady. It was a train development class, and she was talking about medical billing. Whoopee. Medical billing. And the functions of that to medical billers who were sitting in the class, and I'm going, whoa, this is going to be really interesting. She made it so fun. She had people laughing. She gave incidences and stories that was like, good heavens. And so she turned medical billing into something that was enjoyable for the people in the class who were learning to learn. They were paying attention. They were listening. They were totally engaged. So, a lot of times we can have fun on things that maybe aren't so fun. People working in a factory, if they can kind of I'm saying, you have to abide by rules, maybe sing, maybe you get in on break and people can tell jokes. There's so many ways we can have fun in something we think is pretty boring, but you have to have fun. I mean, even if you're visiting somebody in the hospital, I've been in the hospital a ton, and dealt with family members that were in the hospital a ton. But if you can just stop and read something enjoyable, listening to some positive music, something like that, we can make fun a lot of times in a good, positive, respectful way, even in situations that are not fun. So we can make life more fun if we choose to. I talked to a friend yesterday, and she said, you know what? When I go to anywhere I am, she said, I was at the store, and this lady, you know, kind of just, we caught eyes, and she looked a little troubled, and I smiled at her, and she smiled back, and I said, you know what? I'm doing the exact same thing. I am making it a habit now that when I see people in stores, wherever I am, I smile at them. And sometimes, I was at the doctor's office yesterday, and this lady was looking real serious and stuff, and she looked up and saw me, and I smiled at her. She kind of paused for a second, and then she smiled back at me. And it made me feel really good. So think about all the times I'm going to smile at people. When I see military or law enforcement, I walk a half a block to go thank them, salute them, whatever, and say thank you for your service. I really appreciate it. And they need that appreciation too. So think of that. You know, love. We can show love. I love dogs. I love people. I love all kinds of things. But we need to show more love to people, kindness. I remember when I was doing the programs on gender roles and stuff at a high school that had a lot of underprivileged kids recently. I'm not going to mention the name. But at the central desk where you check in, and the visitors check in, it's kind of the central hub, and of course they have a security person there because they have to do a lockdown. They did one while I was there, or a hold in place, I think they called it, because of things going on outside. But I looked at some of the artwork. They were chalk drawings, and one was I don't know, she was sophomore, junior, I couldn't quite tell. And all of her charcoal drawings were heartbreaking. It was like looking down, hair was hanging down straight, really sad, just totally awful. And my heart broke for her. And I started looking around, 2,200 kids in the school, and I'm like, holy moly. You know, you look at them as they're passing to go to another class, and it was just astounding. And my heart just went out to these kids. And they even said, at the end, they could ask me questions and say, so, what would you change? What one thing in your life would you change if you could? A pause. I looked at every single one of them across the room, and I said, my whole life. And I meant it. They said, oh, she was Mrs. Nebraska. She's probably, you know, real privileged. And they found out within 1 minute I had a really rough life, and it was not. And so, but that's what we have to do. They could see the love in my eyes for them. And I could tell, they could see that. And I kept thinking of the chalk drawings where this girl looked like she was just like death warmed over. And I thought, that's what we need to share love. We need to share positivity. We need to drop assumptions that aren't good, and we need to start giving. We need to expect love from others, but we give it off first. So you may be having a bad day, but I'd honestly say when you see people out there, especially ones that look worried, they look haggard, they look sad, smile at them. I'd say when you look in the mirror and you are just shot, smile. There's actually it's a real true thing that if you're really feeling down and out, look up and smile, even if you don't feel like it, because that actually changes your body and it takes some of that stress off that and gives you release. Just because you can't look angry and look up and smile. You can't be angry at the same time. It really works. It really does help when you feel down like that. So don't expect more abuse, more bad things, more negativity. Expect success, luck, fun, joy, love, success, whatever you truly desire. Expect people to see your talents in art or creativity or sports or medicine. Expect people to start seeing that in you, just like the young man that I've mentioned before on the real estate. And, you know, he made 300 calls a day. He was too young. He was old enough to work. He had 1 year of college, and then he quit because he just turned 21 last week. And he has sold 20 houses and purchased 2 of his own properties. And he just now turned 21. He did that when he was 20. I said, you light up. That's exactly your calling. And obviously it was. So think about that again. What lights you up? What do you expect? Because we get exactly what we expect. So expect good things to open up for you. If you start feeling like bad things are opening up for you, no, you have to turn those around. We have to flip our thoughts constantly from anything that's negative. I'm doing it a lot. It's a battle. But when negative thoughts come in your head, you have to flip them and think the exact opposite. Like, I'm stupid. Nobody's going to want me. It's like, no. I mean, for me, I think, I know I'm God's daughter. I have his mind. I'm worthy. So tell yourself the exact opposite of whatever's hitting you in the head at the time. So give without expectation, all right, without it being requested. I have a giver's heart, and I want to help other people. And some of that's being an empath as well. You feel other people's feelings. You feel their heart. You feel what they're going through. So, but we need to give without expectation, not to give in order to expect something in return. We could very well never get anything from them, but we might get something, a blessing from someone else, because we sowed seeds. We reap what we sow. We sowed seeds of love, of giving to someone else. And then when you can, think of just creative new ways to give to other people. Sometimes it's like, well, gee, I don't have an extra dime that I can help somebody or buy something for them that they might need, but I can help teach them things about their finances. I can help teach them how to save money by cooking and shopping this way. I can teach them how to dress nicely on a very, very tiny budget, going to the consignment stores, and this is what they look for, because I do that myself. But so think of things that you can give to other people. A lot of times just giving them a hug doesn't cost anything. A hug and a smile, that's giving what they really needed at the moment. So always think about what can you give to someone else, because we reap what we sow. It will come back to us, whatever that may be. So there's a scripture too that says, give and it shall be given to you. Pressed down, shaking together, and running over. Yes, that means money and, you know, church offerings and all that, but that means way beyond that, of getting back what we give out. Love, comfort, peace, joy. So think about that, and, you know, it is pressed down, shaking together, and it's running over what we receive back. A lot of people believe in karma, and in there it's kind of the same thing. Whatever you give is going to come back and slap you upside the head, you know, in some cases. So always think about that and be comfortable with yourself, all right? And just see and share good values with other people. The fifth one is believe. The world is abundant. Right now it looks like, oh, the world's, you know, kind of going to heck in a handbasket. And wow, you know, things are breaking down. I know it's really tough right now, and we're seeing a lot of devastation. But believe that the world is abundant. God made a huge, abundant world. He's not going to let it fall apart. There is abundance in this world, and we need to pray it in. I'm doing the same thing here. But to believe goes along with action, and so we can take action steps, but then we have to believe that they're really going to happen. Okay, so think about that. Faith without works is dead, so we can have the faith to believe in something changing in our lives, coming to our lives. But then again, we have to take the action steps, which is what I'm talking about here. So when you truly believe something, your actions reflect the reality of your belief, okay? So think about that. Again, the actions. If we think we're no good, we deserve not much, we don't have any respect for ourselves, then that's what we get. But no. I am a true believer that we have God's DNA. I know we talk about DNA in the body, how our body is made, our body's blueprint. But to me, God's DNA is his divine nature and attributes. And that's what I am living by. Because when we do that, we can believe and receive from him what is best for us as his kids. And so always believe in yourself, in the abundance of the world, and what can be provided for you as you need. There's so many times I've been in need, and boy, I was down to the last minute. He's always been faithful to provide. And so the last one then for today is thank. Okay, being thankful. Everything I'm hearing about success now is gratitude and thanksgiving. So even though I'm still going through a rough time, I was in Haiti. I know what things are like. And it's like, thank you that I can see, I can hear, I can walk, I can talk. I was able to put my pajamas on and go to bed by myself. I didn't need somebody to help me. I have food in my stomach because I'm going to bed. Thank you, Father, for a hot shower and that I'm not trying to brush my teeth in filthy water with my finger like they did in Haiti. And so we want to be thankful for everything. When you get down and you get out and you feel like, oh my gosh, my life's just all falling apart, be thankful. We have so many things to be thankful for. If nothing else, you see what's going on in hospitals. You see what's going in places around the world where it's absolutely hideous and horrific. We have a lot to be thankful for. And I'll tell you, the more we thank God, the more thankful we are, the more we have gratitude, show gratitude. We start feeling rich inside. We start feeling so blessed inside. And that bubbles up in us. And we start looking at things completely differently. I'm doing that now. It's a process. But be thankful, have gratitude, and that in itself will absolutely change your life. And so I will continue on with this in the next program. I wish you all the best. Take action, keep going forward.